in the handout, if you turn to page 39. Page 39 in the handout. So I'm thinking about our target audience. I'm seeing how that connects to family experiences and intergenerational experiences. Now I want to know how I can help them grow in faith. So I now have this library of intergenerational I can draw on and family. Now how am I going to help that person grow? So I want to start adult faith formation, or I've got people who are interested in adult faith formation, or I've got catechumens getting ready to enter the RCIA, or etc. How do I help people discern what they really need to know, learn, be able to do? In other words, when we make the shift from program-centered, which is I have a program and I invite everybody to participate, to a personalized approach, how do I help people discern? So I have middle schoolers, young adolescents, who are getting ready, going into the confirmation program. But they're not all at the same point in their faith growth. How do I help them discern where they are? So I can personalize the learning around them. So the reason why we look at the intergenerational communities, we say, part of my formation with them is intergenerational. I look at the family, part of that is... So what if you started to embed faith growth pathways into your faith formation programming? So this is an example. It's a very simple rating scale. You have 20 items. This is a big, broad one. 20 items from 1 to 5. This is rarely true of me, to 5. This is always true of me. And what you're trying to discern is what? So here's a group of people who've been part of an adult Bible study, the rest, and they want to know what their next step in faith growth is. This is a starting point. To do what? This is going to tell me what people are interested in, what their next step is, what kind of programming they might want, either small group, large group, or online. How can I help you grow in faith? Imagine parents coming to have their children baptized, and this is the first, exactly the first thing after you serve really great coffee and welcome them to the rest, but this is one of the first things you did was to say, where are you in your walk with God? And they had a chance, you have to use just what I have here, you can personalize this, but I'm growing in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. How true is that for you? Now, if I have a program built on the fact that you have a living, alive, vibrant relationship with Christ, and people say, not so much, guess who's got to change? Me, if I'm going to help you grow in faith. I have a real sense that God is guiding me. I'm growing in my understanding of the Christian faith, beliefs, traditions. What if those things aren't true for some people? Doesn't it tell you where you have to direct your attention? So what if you started with people and asked them to discern their faith learning needs? What if every confirmation student, young person, started with this? And then you said, you've been active and engaged for a while. What you need is really more challenge. You've been on sabbatical for 14 years. What you need is meet Jesus. Because there's no use telling you about the creed and the sacraments and the rest if you don't know him. That stuff doesn't mean anything. It's just studying, abstract physics. Because it just has no connection to your life. So there's 7 sacraments. Big deal. If that's all you want, give people a quiz, give them a couple-page handout, let them memorize it and take the test. That's not what you want. You want faith growth. So we have lots of diversity. So when parents come to baptism, this seems to me to be kind of a first step of personalizing it, to say, we're going to help you where you are. In fact, I've got a faith mentor ready to walk with you. And how you learn this, when you learn this, where you learn this, at what pace, that's all up to you. We're here to service you. So why do you need an ongoing online platform? Why do you need mentors? Why do you need great programming? Because you're going to personalize the journey for people. When parents come to First Eucharist, I give them this. The kids are fine. I mean, you could do anything with the kids, bake bread, whatever. It's the parents. Where are you in your faith journey? What's God doing in your life? And if you need to restart it, we're here to help. No judgment. That's what we're here for. It's called evangelization. No judgments made. If you're here to grow and want to go deeper, we're here for you too. You're kind of in the middle that this might be good for my kids and it might be good for me, but we're here for you too. And we promise we won't intimidate you by calling you the primary religious educator of your children. That's what we do. We intimidate the hell out of them. You know, Vatican II said that's the only line people remember from Vatican II is that one line. That's it. Don't remember anything else, but you're the primary religious educator of your children.
John, how would you practically use this tool? So let's say you decide that, yep, in baptism prep, it would be great to give this to the parents. So let's say there are 50 parents in the room or
God bless us.
And they would do this, they would fill it out. Would you then meet with them one-on-one,
or small groups, or if I had a mentor for them?
How would you have that
Yeah. Here's how I process it. Areas where I need to get started. Areas where I need to grow. Areas where I want to go deeper. I'd ask them, this would be kind of the page 2 of this worksheet, okay? Have them fill it out. And then let's talk with people who are getting started. Or let me just collect these and kind of profile them, and then let me make some recommendations on where your next step is. So I might have a small group of a lot of getting started people. So I tailor things to them, and they become a small group. Bonded together by what? Where they are in their faith journey. Then I have a growing group. And they're bonded together because a lot of their items that they want to grow deeper in. And then I have the going deeper group who really wants to. So in these areas, I can personalize it one-on-one. I can small group it. I can make recommendations. I can show them pathways. And imagine if you did this and then you had your website that was developed how? Getting started. Growing. Going deeper. And my job was to do what? Connect people's needs to resources. So my First Eucharist program really looks like an adult faith formation program. Because that's what it really is. Under the guise of First Eucharist or baptism prep or First Eucharist prep, it's really adult faith formation. And so I get a chance to do what? If I do this with parents incoming, I can customize my large group settings around common needs. I realize everybody needs help on how to read the Bible and teach it to children. Great, we can do that. Then I have some specialized ones, which I can do what? A small group or connect them online. In other words, it's not going to work well the first time out because people are going to go, what is this? But it's going to work better the second time and the third time and the fourth time. But the very effort to personalize this around people and put the responsibility for learning and faith growth where it belongs, which is interior to the person, is worth the effort. The large group stuff makes us feel good. Come on, be honest. But there's differences beneath that you need to attend to. If we don't use the windows we get, we're not going to get more windows. I mean, these are the times that we have. We have to work these really well. So if my website for First Eucharist parents is all set up with these variety of activities. And by the way, there's nothing sacred about 25 items. This could be 10. Yeah, this is just an example. This could be 10. My friend Kathy Pittenger, who's been doing this work, United Methodist pastor and Christian educator, I put these examples online. She has one for children. She uses this at the beginning of the year with the kids and their parents. So it's discovering God, forming disciples, learning traditions, seasonal events, caring relationships, in service and ministry. And the 4 boxes, planting, nurturing, shaping, and sharing, are my same 1 to 4 kind of thing, 1 to 5, right? So like under, let's just pick learning Christian traditions. Planting, introduce basic faith words. All the way through to nurturing, learning foundational faith concepts, etc. So it goes deeper. So what's your next step? What do you need? Okay, so I use the numbers because I'm really a little bit lazier. She did more work. But each of those, and then she has one for adults. So, something like spiritual practices. I'm learning about daily devotions and praying. I'm reading the Bible from time to time, which means almost never. I'm practicing spiritual devotions occasionally. So once you kind of know where you are, you could say what? Here's the next best step. Here's a response to that. So if I had adult mentors for my baptism parents, that's the perfect place in which this can be done. If I have small group adult leaders for my confirmation program, that's the perfect setting for this to be done.
And do you think it's best to go one-on-one first and then do the online support?
Yeah, that's the connector.
Yeah.
Now, if I was doing adult faith formation in general, I wouldn't have the ability to do this because I haven't got a gathered setting to do it. So what do? I format my website as if it was what? 0 to 5 or 1 to 5. So getting started, growing, going deeper. So people can pick what they want kind of more intuitively. But if I've got a gathered setting where I've gathered people and they want the next step, like catechumens, entering into the catechumenate, this is a perfect process for them, right? What do you need to know more about? I could personalize some of that. It also informed me that maybe you don't need 7 weeks on sacraments, maybe you need 7 weeks on this. And I can adjust my curriculum to people. So we have some of these windows that open up when you can do discernment. And the faith pathway tool is a discernment tool. But it does require either you do something one-on-one or you do something in a small group when people are gatherable. But I take the principle, and again, I do it both ways. I can personalize the pathway, or I can personalize the offerings. They both work. In personalizing the offerings, people just pick based on where their comfort level is. In personalizing the pathway, that means I'm working directly with people. If you started First Eucharist Prep with parents and you said, we're here to help you really grow in faith. We want to help you in your next step, wherever you may be. And so here's a very simple tool, 10, 12 questions, whatever it might be. Why don't you reflect on this for a little bit? And then we just want you to identify the areas where you want to grow. We're not going to tell you where you got to grow. Areas you want to grow, areas you're doing well. And you collected those. Think about formatting a meeting around that. And got feedback from people. And then said, we've built this year to help you grow in confidence and competence as a faith-forming parent. Be interesting, wouldn't it? Now, you'll stun people, by the way. Because why? You're telling them you'll work with them as individuals. Now, you will. But people will group themselves. Like in a confirmation program, kids who are just, getting going, you can group them. And I put a leader with them who will help them get going. So this is like, you have to kind of abandon that everyone will get through these 8, 10, 12, 14 sessions on confirmation. The most important thing is that they restart their relationship with Jesus Christ. The fact that the Holy Spirit should come in that process is only a bonus. For other kids, oh, please, not 7 sacraments again. They want an undergraduate theology course. They want to be challenged to go deeper. They want to do it in depth. Well, go with them. Because I have digital content. I don't have to teach it all. And then some kids need the traditional confirmation program. So you can personalize it, at least in those big 3 groupings. This is worth experimenting with. Don't try this with 2,000 people. Find an audience and work with it and try this. Okay? There's another instrument in there. It's on page, I think it's right before this.
37.
It's the family one on page 37. So here's the back door. I do this survey all the time, by the way, with parents. Here's the back door to parents' growth. Have them do the family practices one. For some reason, I have removed that box and renumbered this. I don't know how many times, but it's impervious to change. So there are actually 23 items, and that box means nothing. It just will not disappear. I have no idea. So there's actually 23. But if you look at those items, embedded there is what? Family faith, parent faith formation. So what if you did this instrument before First Eucharist prep? And then form the curriculum around the biggest needs there. So I could take the biggest needs of my whole group and do that as large group sessions. I could take the individualized needs and do what? Put them online. That could work. See, in other words, I want to play with this. So, like, it's not like I can say, here's 24 parishes who did this, go talk to them. I don't have 24. I have some great Methodist parishes that have done this, but I don't have any Catholic ones yet. Yet. But can't you see this just starting the First Eucharist prep? Help your family grow and develop, and then you contextualize it that way. The importance of the family, importance of parents. We're here for you. It's not about how much you come to. It's about what you're doing at home. If you're going to focus on any participation at church, it should be Sunday worship. We want to make what we do here things that are going to benefit you as a parent and your family. We're going to form our curriculum this year out of this input from you. Wouldn't that, once you revived everybody in the room, wouldn't it be really interesting? Can you imagine doing a parent orientation meeting for First Eucharist at the end of first grade? Like this time. And in welcome, you serve a wonderful meal or just really good coffee and refreshments. You talk about the importance of this in their life of their child and for them, and then they do this survey. And you say, we're going to build our program next year around you. Holy schmoly. And that gives you the summer to do what? Program. And something's going to be really familiar. Of course, we're going to do something on prayer, something. Sure. Yeah, we're going to bake bread at home on Eucharist. It's always been in Eucharist program. You bake bread. Okay. But we're going to add some real things that are going to help them grow in faith by what? By becoming a better parent faith former of their kids. That's a natural. Too early to say that to parents at baptism, because they have no idea what they're getting themselves into if it's their first child. So you're really talking about them as parents of faith. But at First Eucharist, they've had 7 years in the trenches. How can we help and it's a perfect time to help the family begin to really think about how do you strengthen these practices. You have them for a whole year. Use the year really, really well. What's the worst that can happen?
Same thing that's happening now.
Yeah, I would say, can it be worse than what's going on now? Or could you up your game? And see, 90% of this is the attitude shift. We're here to serve you. We're here to help you. Now, you may not want our help, that's fine. But we're here to support and encourage you as a parent because nobody can do the job you're going to do. And we want you to know the church has got your back. It's not about jumping through our hoops. It's us serving you. If you can say that in 100 different ways, that'll be the biggest shift, because now, when I see what really works with churches and families, heck, churches and adults, it's the ones who see that they're benefiting from their participation in the life of the church. That it's worth my time and effort and the rest because I'm growing. It's benefiting me, my family, my community. It's benefiting us. So I think this is a way to get at it. So if you've got a gathered group, personalize the pathway. I'll help you write these if you want. Just tell me what you want. I mean, I put the DOC file, the Word file online. You can personalize this. Feel free to adapt this stuff. There's none of this is like, this is the only way to do it. But I can always do number 2 if I'm doing adult faith formation for the whole parish. Number 2 is my only option, because I have no place where I'm going to distribute the pathway and then guide people in using it. But when they come to something like we're doing 8 sessions on Catholicism using Bishop Barron's video song and dance routine, okay? I can do this to start, perhaps, right? And I can personalize it. What is it about the Catholic faith that you're most interested in learning? So, I understand this, a little bit, a lot, I really got it. All of a sudden you start to help people see, oh, I never thought I need to go deeper on this. If you had adults doing the adult pathway and you had a subscription to Formed, you now have a way to use Formed to match a resource, a session, a video, an audio to a learning need. You want to get better at this? Watch this, do this, read this, study this. Rather than one size fits all, it's one size fits you. I think that could really work. And in adult faith formation, you have nothing to lose. This is all try new things to engage people. So either approach will work. I put some sample tools in here. I put one for adolescents in there, but they're just samples that you can begin to work with and massage and rework.